have Biden say the reason I'm running, Jack, is because of Charlottesville. This whole thing that was manufactured, paid for, under the supervision of the SPLC, that was spread across TV screens across the country of like, look at how bad America is. Look how racist America is. Trump is the one responsible for this. All of that was fake. It was all manufactured.
That's the guy you know as Comfortably Smug of the Ruthless podcast, accusing the Southern Poverty Law Center of manufacturing lies. Let's bring in political commentator Deborah Leah and campus reform reporter Emily Sturge. Thank you both for coming on. Deborah, to you first. I mean, he's right. The SPLC indictment is really kind of a culmination of these consequences of blaming every conservative organization and person across the country for years and years, and nobody saying a word.
Absolutely. And we have to ask ourselves, why did they need to doctor these situations in the first place? What is so bad about our country moving past racism and being an incredible country? And the answer is that's how they lose voters. They have to win with fear mongering because they can't win on ideas. They have to scare Americans into submission, tell us everything's racism, literally make it up. Jussie Smollett cases donating to the KKK. It's ridiculous. We have moved forward as a country, which is a good thing. And to the point that they now have to manufacture oppression. There's real oppression in this world. We should be using our voices to fight for that and not waste our money funding actual fake causes.
Yeah. Common Sense said last night, when you literally are going after hate, you need to gin up hate to have something to fight. And it's kind of crazy. Here's the Washington Post columnist Max Boot on MS Now giving Trump a bit of credit. Watch.
It's possible that Trump could actually achieve something with his blockade if he doesn't get too ambitious. He's not going to convince the Iranians to suddenly surrender and give in to all his demands. They made pretty clear that's not going to happen. But I think there is the possibility of using the U.S. blockade of Iranian shipping as a bargaining chip to force the Iranians to lift their blockade of all non-Iranian shipping.
I mean, that's the strategy here, right, Emily, is you kind of back into the compliment, the agreement with Trump, and then you back away slowly because you know that you've given him an inch, but you owe him a mile.
Look, Trace, a broken clock is still right twice a day, and President Trump knows that money talks, and that's why he's hitting Iran where it hurts. This blockade is costing them $500 million a day, and to put it simply, as an everyday American, look, I'm just glad to have a president with a backbone. I'm glad that we have a president who can walk and talk unlike the last one. But more than anything, I'm glad that we have a president who's cutting off Iran's money supply instead of sending them pallets of cash like Obama did in 2016, totaling $1.7 billion going to that terrorist regime. Look, the American people voted for a businessman with strong leadership skills, strong negotiation skills. That's exactly what we're getting. And look, even a Democrat could agree that, well, this just might work.
Yeah. So here's the scenario, right? Here's the setup. You had the Minnesota Governor Tim Walz goes on Jimmy Kimmel's late night show. He thinks, what, softball questions I'm going to get? So Jimmy Kimmel has the nerve to ask him about fraud. Tim Walz can't answer it, and they both are boom, 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 and then blame Trump. Watch.
Did it take an extraordinary long time for you to know that that was happening?
No.
Is that just something that has been spread?
It happens in other states. We were going back, and many of these people were prosecuted in 2021. He used it as an excuse because it was a perfect thing to do to say there was fraud. Imagine that. You know, coming from this guy, he would know fraud where it was at.
Yeah.
So used it to...
He's like Sigmund Fraud.
As if Trump was making up the fraud, billions of dollars in fraud. Is he making it up? Tim Walz, if I was Tim Walz, I would just stop talking about the fraud because people are listening every word you say. They're like, oh, we didn't know that.
It's always a deflection game. It's always a blame game. But in the last week alone, 4 Democrat congressmen have been taken down for insider trading and fraud. A congresswoman from the state of Florida, a Democrat congresswoman, was taken down for $5 million that she stole in federal funding for her own campaign. 3 other congressmen were taken down for insider trading on their own campaign on Kalshi's website, and Kalshi flagged it and reported to the DOJ. Yes, this does happen in every state, but why can't we hold people accountable? And Tim Walz just wants to deflect and put it onto Trump because he doesn't want to deal with the actual issue. Fraud should be dealt with point blank, no matter what state it's coming from, what Democrat or what Republican. Fraud is bad. Let's not talk about Trump for a minute and just agree on that.
Listen, Tim Walz is going to be held accountable. There are people who are going to be held accountable. He is among them. He already is. He's not running again. And I'm telling you right now, there's people out there saying, yep, we're coming. Scott Jennings on CNN. He's the conservative pushing back on Democrats' constant doom and gloom narrative. Emily, he said this.
I like it when our leaders talk about a hopeful future. I think that's good for the country. I guess I sort of reject the premise of the conversation a little in that, these are somehow dark times and we're living through this uncertain rough patch. I'm pretty happy, and I think a lot of people are.
Yeah, I think we can pick out the people who are not happy in the country. Emily, what do you think of that?
While the Democrats operate on doom and gloom, surveys actually show consistently that conservatives are happier people. And something that we've reported at the Leadership Institute's Campus Reform, believe it or not, the happiest and most fulfilled group in this country is young conservative women. And Deborah and I both can tell you that's because we prioritize faith, family, and tradition. We want to become mothers and wives. We're buying Bibles. We're going to church. And look at our leftist counterparts in our generation. They're rejecting family. They're rejecting having children. They're rejecting religion. And honestly, to put it simply, it's just a lot of fun to be a conservative. Being on the left seems exhausting. Everything's offensive. Every joke is offensive. Every holiday is racist. You can't say Merry Christmas. Sports are woke. Even beer has to be transgender. So I'm with Scott Jennings on this one. It's a lot of fun to be a conservative, and I'm more proud than ever to be an American.
Well, listen, nobody's having more fun than you two, so I tend to believe everything you say. Emily, Deborah, thank you. Back now with the Nightcap crew, Christina Coleman, Emily Sturge, Jessica Milan-Patterson, Deborah Leah, Lauren Wright, and Eli Kohanim. A new Fox News poll found only a quarter of Americans think AI is helping their daily lives. Is it helping you, Emily?
Honestly, I think ultimately it's hurting my generation. I think it's destroying our free thinking. I think it's destroying our writing skills. And writing and thinking, they're like muscles. You got to work them. You got to flex them. And I'm scared my generation is going to lose them eventually.